In the twilight of the Ptolemaic dynasty, the salt-sprayed air of ancient Alexandria carried the heavy scent of incense and ambition. Power here felt like warm silk against the skin, but it was sharp as a dagger's edge. Sharing that palace and that lethal ambition were two striking sisters. History remembers the legendary allure of Cleopatra VII, but burning right in her shadow was her younger sibling, Arsinoe IV. Barely out of her teens, Arsinoe refused to be a pawn. When Julius Caesar sailed into Egypt with his legions to back Cleopatra's claim to the throne, Arsinoe chose rebellion. She escaped the royal palace, slipped into the Egyptian military encampments, and had herself declared queen, leading a desperate, bloody siege directly against Caesar's veteran soldiers. But the dream crumbled. Roman reinforcements eventually arrived, crushing the Egyptian uprising. The young rebel queen was dragged to Rome and paraded through the streets in chains of silver to satisfy the crowd's thirst for fallen royalty. That failed uprising proved exactly who Arsinoe was. She possessed a dangerous, restless magnetism and a drive for power that placed her on a direct collision course with her sister and the might of Rome. Caesar, perhaps moved by her youth or her defiant beauty, spared her life. He banished her across the Mediterranean to modern-day Turkey, where she sought sanctuary inside the sacred columned majesty of the Temple of Artemis in Ephesus. For a few years, she lived as a gilded ghost, her sanctuary protected by divine law. But by 41 BCE, Cleopatra had secured a new Roman protector, Mark Antony. To secure his lover's throne, Antony ordered his soldiers to breach the temple. They dragged the 22-year-old princess onto the marble steps and cut her throat. For nearly 2,000 years, the dust of Ephesus kept its secrets. Then, in 1929, an Austrian archaeologist named Joseph Keil was excavating the ruined city when he uncovered a grand, 8-sided stone monument standing prominently on the main ceremonial street. They called it the Octagon. Lowering himself into a burial chamber buried beneath the monument, Keil found a marble sarcophagus completely submerged in dark, stagnant water. Inside lay the headless skeleton of a young individual, preserved in the watery dark without a single piece of gold or royal inscription. In ancient Ephesus, a burial inside a monument of this scale was an honor reserved for the city's highest elite. Yet the water had stripped away any name or inscription, leaving an anonymous, high-profile vacancy that the archaeological community was eager to fill. Dr. Hilke Thur argued the Octagon tomb's geometry matched Alexandria's pharaoh's lighthouse, honoring Arsinoe IV. Though the skull vanished in World War II, experts used surviving 1920s measurements, mapping them digitally to coax a face from the missing bone. The result was a 3D model of a young woman with striking, delicate features. Thur asserted that the skull's proportions indicated a mix of classical Greek and African ancestry, implying that Arsinoe, and by extension Cleopatra, had Black African roots. The reconstruction sparked a global media frenzy. Pop culture eagerly swallowed the story, and documentaries broadcast the face of the African queen globally, seeking to rewrite the physical identity of Egypt's final dynasty. This conclusion was compelling, but rested on a fragile foundation. Critics pointed out that old measurements to determine race was scientifically outdated and highly subjective. The debate remained at a standstill for decades. That changed when Gerhard Weber's team at the University of Vienna located the lost skull, which had sat forgotten in an Austrian archive since its quiet return years earlier. Armed with state-of-the-art tools, the scientists bypassed the old records entirely. They subjected the bones to microcomputed tomography, radiocarbon dating, and high-resolution DNA analysis, hoping to extract maternal mitochondrial DNA to compare against the Ptolemaic bloodline. The 2025 genetic that few expected. Both the skull and the femur contained a clearly defined Y chromosome. The fallen queen of Ephesus was undeniably male. He was also much younger than Arsinoe, a boy between 11 and 14 years old. He had a severe developmental condition, prematurely fusing his cranial sutures. His jaw was profoundly underdeveloped, making chewing difficult and wearing his teeth down in agonizing patterns. The genetic data placed his ancestry in the Italian peninsula, or Sardinia, far from Alexandria. This single, undeniable genetic test completely dismantled decades of theory, showing exactly how hard data can obliterate a compelling, long-held narrative myth. For 30 years, the world envisioned a glamorous, defiant Ptolemaic princess caught in a power struggle. In reality, those bones belonged to an anonymous Roman boy who lived and died in constant physical pain. The Octagon was never a monument to a murdered queen. Burial inside the city walls, on the main ceremonial street, was an extraordinary privilege. This was the final resting place of a Roman youth, built by a prominent family who wanted to honor their suffering son. We often want a neat, cinematic ending to history, but that desire can warp our objectivity, turning scattered bones into a mirror for our own projections. Rigorous science serves as the essential anchor back to reality. The Roman boy has finally reclaimed his identity, but the physical remains of Cleopatra's fierce sister have slipped through the fingers of history once more. Arsinoe remains a ghost, her ambition and her final resting place still hidden in the earth, waiting for the day she chooses to be found.